Hey everybody, this is Billy Keenan, and I want to welcome you to my very first episode of Talking Toons. This will be an ongoing series on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, where I bring in a prominent Irish musician and just start talking music. You know, my playing days began at the age of 8, and they ended with the date of my accident in September of 2013. But once you're a musician, you're always a musician. And I just stumbled upon this as a means of staying in the music and spending time with musicians that I really admire. So to kick it off, I chose a young man who, if you've never heard his name, it's only a matter of time before you do. I remember the day he was born, and here he is, joining me in the first edition of Talking Toons, Mr. John Paul Reynolds. So great to have you, brother.
Thanks, Billy. Good to be here.
So, I want to go all the way back to the very beginning.
Okay.
Tell me about your parents.
Well, before I even started playing music, it was always part of my life. My mom said even before I was born, I was listening to it when she was working in the bail buct in the Bronx. She always had Irish music playing. So she said I was exposed to it before I was born.
Yeah.
And then from there on, she would always be teaching music in the house. My parents would take me to gigs, take me with them. They'd always be playing around the house. So even before I picked up an instrument, it was sort of part of me because I've been hearing it all the time.
What does mom play?
My mom, Margie, plays the flute and whistle.
And your dad?
Yeah, my dad plays the fiddle.
But he plays other things as well.
Yeah, he plays the guitar a bit, I think, yeah.
Viola?
Viola.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of messes around.
Messes
with
around.
things here and there.
Talk to me about your siblings.
So I have 3 sisters. Oldest is Erin. She played the fiddle. She still plays the fiddle. She's just turned 30. She has 2 kids and husband Mickey Coleman, who he's a guitar player and singer.
From
Tyrone.
From Tyrone.
From Ardbo, Tyrone.
And Erin is still active
Erin, yeah, she still plays.
in the music.
Yeah. Mm.
And in addition to playing,
She also teaches. She has her own music school based in Woodlawn. So
yes.
yeah, she's keeping busy with the music.
And Blaheen.
Blaheen, she's the middle of the 3 sisters. She's now living in Syracuse with her husband Nick. She plays the accordion, the button accordion, and for a couple of years, not as much anymore, but for a long time she was playing with her band with a lot of her friends. Gersha, based in Pearl River.
In Pearl River.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then the 3rd sister.
Yeah, Nadine, the youngest of the 3. She'd always played. She plays the whistle. She'd been playing that for ages, and then she picked up different instruments here and there. But she mostly sings, and she's a good singer.
She's a very good singer. Yeah, she's fantastic. So the music was in the house before you were born.
Yeah.
What's your first musical memory?
My first musical memory. At all or playing?
Like the first time that you were consciously remember hearing it and thinking, wait a minute, something's going on here.
Yeah.
It's a tough question.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is, I remember, this was a long time ago, but I remember, I think it was HBO did like a documentary series on young musicians.
Yes.
And they chose Nadine, the youngest of my 3 sisters.
Yes.
They chose her to do a segment on playing it and whistle.
Yes.
And I remember because this was like over the course of a couple days, I think. So this was like the biggest thing that came into my head.
I was there that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a big pool party.
Yeah.
And then a session broke out, and I was playing that guitar and back in tunes.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I had to go because of family. The kids wanted to get back down to sleep.
Yeah.
So I had to leave before it really got cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so that's your family, and the music has been there forever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first instrument?
My first instrument was the fiddle. I started in third grade with Rose Flanagan,
Yes.
my one and only fiddle teacher.
You're one and only.
Yeah.
And what was your relationship like with her?
It was great. You know, I'd go every week for tunes, and it was really, you know, comfortable because, I mean, I'm friends with her son Kieran, and I was really comfortable in the house because I was in and out of there all the time. You know, our parents are friends.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Kieran, and you know, I was kind of it was a nice experience, and you know, even though the first couple times I really didn't want to go, I kind of had to get dragged
Really?
to lessons. Yeah, no, yeah, I kind of said I wanted to, and then you know, I was kind of shy about it or whatever, but it was an overall a great experience.
Do you remember the first tune that you got?
I don't remember the first tune that I learned, although I'm sure it was, you know, one of the simple ones, but I remember the first tune where things really clicked for me was St. Vincent Campbell's, and this was around like 4th grade, and I was playing this tune and I could really like feel the music, unlike any other tune I'd gotten before.
Play it right now.
Alright.
Yeah.
I haven't played this one in a long time.
If you
I
can.
remember it.
No pressure. I'm playing an elaborate game of Stuff the Band. This is awesome, great.
Okay, I think I have.
Oh my goodness. 4th grade.
Yeah, that was.
When was the last time you played it?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
But that tune ended up being the jig for the under 12 Ceili band.
Yes. And we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that. Talk to me first about what did it feel like when that tune, when you had it? Describe the emotions and feelings.
It almost sort of felt like an epiphany because I had been, you know, playing the instrument for a while, but it never really, it almost felt more like a chore or like homework.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I was playing that tune, and it was the first time, you know, it kind of really clicked. So it felt more enjoyable, and it felt like fun for the first time, you know, like I had really enjoyed.
So it's almost the line of demarcation between practice and playing.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My first instrument, actually, do you want to have a giggle? Pick up the guitar for a second. I want to give you a little bit of, because right now, I don't feel like a big interview. I feel like two dudes talking music.
Yeah.
So look at the picture on the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
All right? That's a picture of my dad in 1975 at the Pearl River Parade.
Wow.
Yeah, 1975. My father, so Kieran, can you kind of get a little bit, or maybe jump off? Yeah, take it over. So my dad was a detective on the NYPD, but he grew up, he wasn't born in Ireland. He's from the Bronx, but he was born to, his parents were both from Leitrim. And, but he taught himself basically to play button accordion at the age of 18. But he was a step dancer and a singer.
Oh.
So I heard, my first musical memory was of hearing my dad playing, like, I might have been like 4 or 5 years old, and seeing everybody in my house dancing and singing and then clapping and thinking, I want that. How is it for you? Did Rose take you through notation, or was it by ear?
Well, I sort of went through notation, but we didn't ever, really read notes to learn. So I learned what the notes were, but I still learned by ear. So she'd play it for us, and then, go, bar by bar, phrase by phrase, play it, and then, we'd repeat back until we got it. It wouldn't be perfect, obviously. And then we'd, work on little bits we were missing, and basically we built it from the bottom up, and then we'd have the whole tune, learning by ear.
And if a lesson was an hour, would you have that new tune by the time an hour passed?
Usually, yeah, we'd have the tune more or less before the hour passed.
Yeah.
But when I first started, and even the first couple of years, I wouldn't have it completely. But then, the job was to go home, practice that week, and then you'd have it by the time you came in next week.
Yeah.
So.
And backtracking, when you got that first tune, it went from a chore to something like...
Yeah, to something I really enjoyed, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Would love be the right word?
Yeah, I'd say that, because, yeah, probably, because, it's not only the music that I love, but everything around it, the events and the people I meet. It's one great big experience and, part of my life that I couldn't imagine without.
Players that you really admire?
In Irish music?
Let's go fiddle first.
Fiddle. One of my favorite...
Or that even, influenced you deeply.
Yeah. One of my favorite is Dylan Foley. He also went to my teacher Rose.
Yeah.
And I love his style and the rhythmic energy that he brings to playing music.
Yeah.
And it was also great to have, someone else, close to you.
Yeah.
Not living in Ireland that you could look up to, and kind of, inspire you as an Irish American musician.
Did he, in any way, besides his technical brilliance and as you said, that I love that rhythmic sense to his playing, did he have a more direct influence on you? Meaning mentorship or kind of coaching or encouraging?
Yeah, if I was thinking, there was different times where I was picking my flock tunes or whatever, and I would go to him and sort of ask him what he would think of the tune. And then I'd also see him, at different weekends or Irish Arts Week, and I'd go to him and take whatever workshops I could from him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you just brought up the word, so I'm going to go right back there. Competition.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you first competed?
When I first competed, I'm pretty sure I was 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Or no. No, yeah, I was 10, I think.
And on what instrument?
I entered on the mandolin, the fiddle, and then later the Ceili band.
Right.
So.
Okay. Tell me what you like about competition.
Well, there's a lot of things me and a lot of other musicians don't like, but with competition, some of the things I really like about it are hearing everyone else and hearing, what people can do with a couple months of preparation and determination and focus. So hearing the best of, your colleagues and friends, hearing what they can do is really nice. Because you can hear them perform at their best.
Wow. I love that answer. So I competed for a couple of years on tin whistle, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
Tell me what you didn't like about competition.
Well, even, from the beginning till now, and it's not even just music, it's the same thing with sports. It would just make me very nervous, The whole, I guess it was kind of put into my head that it was such a big deal, and that, winning it is the greatest thing ever, which, I've come to realize, one person might think it is, it's really isn't. But it would just make me very nervous, and compete and practicing for it would always be a hassle. I could, think to myself I could have been learning all these different tunes when, I was preparing just a couple,
For months on end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. What else? Dig a little bit more deeply into what you disliked about competition. Or let me ask you another way. Do you still compete?
Yes, I still compete.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what kept you in it?
Well, even though the competition itself isn't exactly the best, a lot of great things would come with it. Like the flak is like basically every year would be one of the most fun experiences of my life, because it was just so fun to run around, a different city every year in Ireland and hang out with friends, learn new tunes at Ceili, and it was such a great experience. So definitely, I would just keep coming back for the good experiences.
All right. Now, talk to me about the Flacciol Heron and the under 12 Ceili band.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was my first year competing in the Fla, I think, and I actually wasn't in the Ceili band to begin with. One of the kids on the fiddle couldn't go to Ireland, and I was still very new on the fiddle, and my mom said, you can put John Paul in there, and people weren't entirely sure if I was ready or not.
How old were you?
I was 10.
Okay.
But I was very determined, and I practiced those tunes a lot, and we practiced as a band, at least I think maybe once a day, even like once every other day. Like
Jigs and reels or both?
Jig and reel.
Jig and reel, yeah. And what were the tunes?
Actually the one I played for you earlier, Bits and
yeah.
Candles, that was the jig we learned. So Rose and my mom and Patty were all teaching it to everyone, because it was going to be one of the band tunes. So I ended up knowing that one really good. And the other tune was the Ash Plant in E minor.
Get us out in the fiddle.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, you know this gig doesn't pay anything, right? The Ash Plant.
Mm-hmm.
Who picked that tune?
I'm not sure. Patty, my mom, and Rose would always meet. They'd either pick my house or one of theirs to meet and discuss the band tunes, and they'd all kind of come to a mutual agreement on what tunes to play for each band, each age group.
Tell me the instrument lineup in the Ceili band.
Usually there'd be 3 fiddles, 3 flutes, an accordion, a concertina, drums, and a piano. And sometimes it would be 2 flutes and a banjo, but usually it was the 3 flutes, 3 fiddles.
And was that the lineup that you guys had?
We had 3 fiddles, a banjo, 2 flutes, accordion, concertina, piano, and drums.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my next question. Of all of the musicians that were in that Ceili band, how many are still active playing?
Still active. Let me see now. I have to think about this. Hold on. I think 5.
Out of how many?
10.
Out of 10.
Yeah, Ceili bands always have 10.
So literally 50%
Yeah.
have fallen by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of button boxes and fiddles
Yeah.
in closets that have never seen the light of day.
No, yeah.
What kept you in it?
Just all the fun experiences and all the great friends I'd make in it, and they kept playing, so I'd keep playing. I enjoyed playing, and I loved going to Ireland every year in the Catskills.
Yeah.
And all these different events
For Chadwick.
Yeah.
In Ireland, favorite place to go and play,
And play.
specifically with regard to the music.
My favorite place to go and play has to be Clare.
Yes.
And I'd go. I remember even before I really had friends in Ireland, I went to I forget the name of the town. It was a small town. We met Oliver O'Connell, a accordion player.
Yeah.
And we played tunes with him in this small pub in this little village in Clare. And I remember just loving the music there.
Was it out by the ocean?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
But now I love going to. There's a little festival right before the Fleadh called Fecal, and I love. It's right.
Oh,
by
in
Tola.
East Clare.
Yeah, in East Clare.
Right by Spansel Hill.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not exactly sure of the.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, I know it very well.
yeah, I have a lot of friends in Tola and from around.
Yeah, around
I would
East Clare.
always go there, and I love the music there. It's always very good.
Yeah. What are the pubs in Fecal?
In Fecal, the main one is Peppers.
Peppers. Yes. Yes.
So that's the main one we'd all go to. It's a little outside the town, but
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
great tunes there.
Let's talk about the banjo.
The banjo. I sort of got into the banjo because, well, my dad had one. My dad had one. It was a Wayman, I think 1912. It was really old, and it was around the house, same strings as the fiddle. So I sort of got into that. I think around 2013.
Yeah.
So I started playing that, just because I loved, the feeling of playing the fiddle, so playing another instrument kind of is something.
And the fingering was all the same.
Yeah, it was the same, except I was taught, or told, I forget by who exactly, instead of using 3 fingers like this to use 4 fingers, so I'd use my pinky instead of my ring finger, but still is
Yeah.
relatively.
The transition was
Yeah.
pretty.
Pretty natural.
So did you go for lessons, or were you taught, self-taught?
I went for a little bit of lessons here and there, but mostly self-taught because it was basically fiddle right onto this.
Right. When you did take lessons, who was your teacher?
I went to Frankie McCormick for a bit, and the most important thing that I took from that was picking up and down, because I had a bad habit of only picking down.
Straight down.
A lot of people have that trouble at first, but eventually I got to the up and down motion.
Talk about Frankie for a minute.
I learned with him, me and a friend of mine, Fiona Mulligan, we both learned the banjo together. Usually we go to her house, and her mom, who was a flute player too, she'd like prepare snacks and whatever, so I loved going there and getting the snacks, and then learning different cool tunes from Frankie that
Where's Frankie from in Ireland?
Cabin.
And do you know what band he plays for?
Celtic Cross.
So you give us a tune on it and kind of talk us through the significance of the tune for you, where you got it from, where you heard it.
Just any tune right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Oh my goodness. What's that tune called?
I believe that's called the Milky Way.
The Milky Way.
Yeah. And
Do you know who wrote it?
I don't. But I got that off of a CD that's pretty new. It's a great CD. It's tuned up a half step, so whenever learning it, people would have to tune up to learn it. But it was great. It was Dylan Carlos, Kean Sweeney. Dylan Carlos on the fiddle. He just won the All Ireland senior. Kean Sweeney on the flute. Carlos.
He won the two-row?
Who?
The two-row button accordion?
No. Kean Sweeney was the flute player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then John McCartan was the guitar player. And on a few tracks here and there, George McAdam came in on the banjo, like in that track there.
Yeah.
George McAdam is he's an amazing banjo player from, I forget where, of course when I need to say
when you need it. From Ireland,
in the north, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not, it'll come to me.
Yeah.
But he's a great style of what everyone over there calls, chunk. That's the way they describe it. It's just very rhythmic and easy to get into. And he has a load of students from all over the country, and almost everyone who's, winning an All-Ireland, county flower, or the Munster, the Leinster, or the All-Ireland, is like a good number of them go to him.
Bunch.
Yeah.
Can I ask you to play your favorite tune
All right.
on banjo?
Okay.
And first, tell me what it is, and talk us through like how it came to you,
All right.
what you love about it.
Mm-hmm. So, it's hard to say what my favorite tune is exactly because there's so many, and it's always been different ones here and there. It used to be Mason's Apron. I love just kind of like almost the showing off aspect of it, just because it's like I could play this fast or this, but I like
Give us a little bit of Mason's.
All right.
Come on. There you go.
Yeah, but
oh my God.
Yeah.
That's mighty. I love Mason. Key of A.
Yeah, A.